Last year, I became the school resource officer at Lewis and Clark Middle School. For those of you that don't know, that's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So we have 10-year-olds to about 14-year-olds there. Becoming a school resource officer means I'm at the school full-time. I'm building relationships with the kids, solving problems. Nothing could have prepared me for the kind of problems I was going to get. Right away, I noticed that most of the problems I were getting were social media based. Whether it was bullying, whether it was sexting, whether it was cheating on homework, all kinds of social media computer problems. When I first started, I was probably getting 6 to 10 bullying reports a week. Through education, that's come down to about 1 a month now. So it's dropped significantly. Tonight, we're going to give you an insight into what kids are doing, why they're doing it, and what you can do about it. And most people walk out of this section, it's disturbing is what I usually hear. Because this is not going to be your, let's change your settings and change your password. This is going to be some real life changes that you can make. And what I tell the kids, even in 6th grade, is, hey, your decisions matter now, right? You're not on the mommy plan. You can make some life-altering choices. You're not going to get a birthday card when you're 18 that says, boom, your decisions matter, right? Officer Goma is here to tell you your decisions matter right now. So let's go to the first slide here. Why do we have such a big problem? Kids are getting iPhones for their 8th birthday party, right? That's wrong, but we have to deal with it. Parents have to keep up with the Joneses, so they're giving them iPads, they're giving them iPhones. Some people are using iPads, iPhones as babysitters. Hey, I don't want to hear you anymore play, Angry Bird, whatever you're going to do, Flappy Bird, all those things. By the time they hit middle school, most kids have some kind of electronic device that gets them on the internet. These kids are much smarter than most parents at using these devices. Why? Because they're being trained at school by their peers. I found that Facebook, kids are starting to go away from Facebook as parents get smarter at Facebook. Most parents have a Facebook account, can kind of find messages, can find pictures. So now kids are using Snapchat, they're using Instagram, they're using things that parents aren't aware of. And we're going to teach you some of those things tonight. Kids can update social medias on the fly, on the bus, on the way to school. They can delete it on the way home. So when a parent does a phone check, oh, my kid is such a good person, they have no friends. Okay? That's not the case. Kids are using a lot of fake accounts. Most of the new Instagram, Kik, all that does not use your full name, so you cannot be searched by your full name. You either have to be one of their friends or one of their friends' friends so that you know what their names are, or you're not going to find what they're doing. You can still check their Facebook, and you can go on believing them that that's the only thing they use, but that's not correct. Parents are naive about kids' experiences, and this happens 2 ways. Number one, I'm a parent and I'm a grandparent. All right, parents, especially with girls, they don't think their kids are going to have a sexual thought until they're 25. Right? Much less a 6th grader is going to have a sexual thought, right? That's way too early. Maybe in high school they might think about sex. 6th graders are already thinking about sex, and if they're not, the 7th graders are forcing it down their throats, whether they want to or not. We have 7th graders in middle school that are having full-on sex, experimenting, multiple partners, everything. That's 7th grade. The 6th graders see this. Parents still have a hard time with that. Parents have a hard time understanding that there are predators who don't have jobs, who stay in mama's basement, and they hunt your kids. I mean, they literally are hunting your kids all day long to either get naked pictures, to go out on dates with them, and these are professional predators who are from the ages of 20 to 60. Okay? I'm going to let you guys in on something. In the month of January, we arrested 5 guys in Meridian who came to meet us at the park thinking they were going to have sex with a 13, 14, 15-year-old girl. Okay? The reason we caught them, and we're kind of going to go over this, we have fake accounts at the middle schools, at the high schools, to kind of keep track of the students and what's going on. So using my fake account, which I only have kids that I know at the school, I get these 30, 40, 50-year-old guys that friend me. Hey, how are you doing? So, of course, hey, how are you doing? And then through the course of that, pretty soon they want to meet us at the park. Oh, absolutely, I'll meet you at the park. Right? I'll be wearing pigtails, but you'll be wearing handcuffs by the time the night's done. Okay, let's go to the next slide. I came up with a couple of concepts through all my talking with kids. I talk to kids at lunch. I talk to them before school. Any middle school kid and high school kid does not need more than 200 social media friends. I found that your social media friend number, whether that be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, is directly proportional to the amount of bullying you get. All right, so most of the kids who have 200 or less, they hardly ever get bullied, and if they do, it's easy for them to block and delete them. Right? If you have 3,000 friends, you can block somebody today, and you're going to have 3, 4, or 5 more bullies tomorrow because you don't know these people. What I have found is after your 200 friends, people become anonymous. Once people start becoming anonymous, they start saying things they wouldn't say in normal conversations. If you keep your 200 friends, most likely you know most of those friends, and they're afraid to say something bad. Once you go past that limit, that's where the problems begin. The next policy, at middle school we have a no-touch policy. You're not supposed to touch people. Do they touch people? All day long. But it's a no-touch policy. Online, I want it to be somebody you touch on the shoulder policy. Make sure you know people. I friend all the kids at Lewis and Clark that I can. I probably have 400 or 500 friends there. And I tell them at lunch, hey, I'm your friend on Facebook. Oh, that's gross, Officer Gomez. Right? Delete me. I challenge you. Well, how am I going to delete you if I don't know who you are? Delete everybody you don't know, and you'll have deleted me. And so then they're welcome to come by my office and see if they deleted me or not. And some do, and some don't. Some will go delete 10, some will delete 20, and if they get me, they don't get me. Then pretty soon they get old and they don't care. Or they say, I'm just deleting my whole Facebook account. By the way, that means nothing, because you can delete your Facebook account as soon as you log in with your username and password, your whole Facebook account is back. Right? So deleting your Facebook account means absolutely nothing. In case they tell you that. The last one's harder for parents, right? To date, nobody's exploded for not having internet, right? But when I mentioned it to parents, hey, some kids are not mature enough to have social media. Oh my goodness, right? Their kid is going to die. They're not going to breathe. And the kid especially thinks they're going to die. There are people that live without the internet, and they live just fine. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so I teach a 6th grade, almost most of the 6th graders, and I always ask them, what percentage of the kids have social media? And most of it, the 6th graders, 7th graders, Facebook. Instagram is hugely popular, but most of this is Facebook. 6th graders, 60% of them have Facebook. Facebook requires you to be 13. That means that you have to enter a fake birth date if you're going to have a Facebook account. Most 6th graders and half the 7th graders have to enter a fake birth date. As do they on Instagram, on Twitter, on all those things, they have to enter a fake birth date. Most parents know they're entering a fake birthday to get on there. All right, so parents, knowing that Facebook has set a 13-year-old limit, they allow their kids to bypass this because Johnny down the street has it, Sally has it, all their friends have it, Aunt Sue has it. It can't be that bad, and I'm monitoring it. Okay? There's some good reasons why we need it to be a 13 age limit. Kids just cannot handle some of the concepts that come across, and you don't want them to get some of those concepts that come across, I promise. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so here's the age requirements for most of the popular applications that kids are using. Right? Where do sixth graders fit into that? Nowhere. Earlier this year, we had an Instagram problem in the 6th grade. Somebody made a fake account and was just talking trash about a bunch of the 6th graders. Every 6th grader in our school was trying to hunt down the person who was making a fake account. So for about 2 weeks, nobody got anything done. We had a couple fights. We had all kinds of parents call me, Officer Gomez, my kid is being bullied. What are you going to do about it? Hey, well, how old are they? Well, they're 10. Well, delete their Instagram account. Well, you're asking me to punish them because of what somebody else is doing? Like, let me ask you something. Do you lock your doors at night? Well, yeah. Why? To protect myself. Afford the same thing to your kid. Protect them. Right? Why are we talking if they're not having a problem? They're having a problem because they're not old enough. Let's get the right age groups going. Access to social media. Almost everything accesses social media. For the rest of this presentation, I'm just going to say it that iPhones and iPod touches are the same thing. They can both access all the same things. An iPod touch is no safer than an iPhone. Right? You can talk, you can chat, you can send pictures, you can do all the stuff you shouldn't be doing on an iPod touch. So let's just consider those the same. All these things are not only in your house, they're at grandma's house, they're at their friend's house. Right? So you can be as secure as you want, and if Johnny's mom and dad don't secure their stuff, guess what? Your son's getting their information as well. Home computers and Minecraft. Minecraft, I've been asked a lot. Hey, Minecraft is popular in the 6 to 12-year-old kid range right now. It's kind of a blocky world where you make different things. I've been getting a lot of reports of predators preying on kids through Minecraft. And people, oh, why would somebody do that? I say, okay, you know what? If I'm going to go hunt deer season opens, I'm not going to go to Boise Town Square Mall to hunt deer. The deer are not there. I'm going to go up in the mountains where there's deer. A professional child molester who wants to go after kids is going to go where the kids are at. The kids are on Minecraft, right? So they build up a bunch of resources and they offer to trade them resources for them to get on Skype or something, take off their clothes and send them inappropriate pictures. So Minecraft's becoming a problem. You have to watch out anything that connects, and all these things connect. Let's go to the next one. Okay, what are kids using these days? 6th and 7th graders use Facebook and Instagram. High schoolers are using Instagram and Twitter. Most kids are using Kik. You can see the ones that I think are bad and shouldn't be used have the bad word on them. Kik is one of those. Kik is run by a Canadian company who we have a hard time dealing with because, number one, they don't save any chats. Number two, they don't really have to abide by United States subpoenas or search warrants or those kind of things. They are trying to be helpful, but because they're a Canadian company, they're kind of in a world of their own. And if we have to depend on their information to find a lost kid or an abducted kid, we're going to be in trouble. Plus, we have a lot of spam bots that are going around and just hitting every user they can for inappropriate pictures. And they're very sneaky about the way they do it and get a lot of information that way. Snapchat and Ask FM we're going to talk about later. No kid should have that. I don't even think adults should have Snapchat or Kik, and we'll talk about why. Chat roulette's really, really, really bad. So if you see any of those ones that are marked bad, just so you know, I think we're going to put the slide available to all of you so you can look at the slide, look at what kind of things you need to look for later on. If not, I have a Facebook page. It's David Gomez, SRO. You're welcome to friend me. The slide is there. All my future presentations are there because by the end of the night, you're going to say, you're going to want some other people to come to this. Okay, next slide. This is the meat and potatoes of the whole slide system. We're going to talk about internet predators first. Like I said, we've arrested 5 guys in Meridian who came to meet young girls. In my year and a half at Lewis and Clark, I've probably confiscated more than 50 pictures of naked middle school kids. More than 50. And that's a small percentage, right? I'm only going to get a small percentage. More than 50 is crazy. These are 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds that are naked. It's unheard of. The first one I saw, I was shocked. At number 50, at number 60, I'm almost expected. And why? Because parents just aren't up to date on what's going on. So the girl victims first. Who is preying on the middle school girls? What I found is boys get out of high school. They're 17, 18, 19. They get out of high school, I'm going to take a year off. I'm not going to go to school. I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to sit at home with mama and have her make me some sandwiches. Girls that age are going to college. They want to get married. They have enough smarts to, hey, dude, that's the loser right there. He doesn't have a job, doesn't go to school, lives with mama. I don't want to have to ask his mama to take us on a date. That's just wrong. Well, those guys aren't going to go without girls, so they come back to the girls who don't care about those things, which are my middle school girls. Right? And every middle school girl that gets contacted by a 17, 18, 19-year-old boy, especially if he has a car, oh, they're so mature. No matter what, they're so mature. They got so much going on. It's so exciting. And in reality, when I was in middle school, way long ago, I think the girls were the same, right? If they got an older guy who paid them attention, they thought they were so mature. And, well, I'll never date a guy my own age because they just don't talk like those other guys. These days, just with the internet access, they're just much more accessible. So what I'm teaching the middle school girls is, hey, look, if the guy doesn't have a job, he doesn't go to college, and he lives with mom, that's a loser you shouldn't be talking to. And that rule's good till you're 50. All right? The second biggest predator on my middle school kids, especially the girls, is their peers. Okay, so the boys in middle school have decided that they can get naked pictures of their middle school classmates. And that's a huge problem. Girls that are not so popular, if you want to become popular, you send out a booby picture and you are instantly popular. Every boy wants to date you. Okay? Girls that are popular and don't want to send a picture out, as soon as there's a guy they like, he's going to pit them against somebody else and say, hey, look, you know what? I really like you and I really like Susie over here, but Susie sends out naked pictures and you don't. right? So they talk them into sending pictures that they wouldn't normally send. The other problem we have is that 11, 12, 13-year-old girls are still in My Little Pony land, all right? Especially if they have a dual-parent family with a church background. Those are the ones that are most susceptible to send out pictures. It's kind of strange. My girls that come from the trailer park have a single mom who's had a bunch of boyfriends. They've heard the I love you, trust me stuff before. I heard that stuff from my mom's boyfriends. They don't have as much access to the social media, and they've a lot more boy smart a lot earlier because thanks to mom and boyfriends. The other girls, parents have never had a fight. They go to church. Everything's perfect. When a guy tells them they love them, trust me, you can send me a picture. That's how you're going to show me that you really trust me. Girls want to trust them and send them out. Okay? I'll tell you a little story. Last year, I had a girl come into my office, super strong religious girl, very high morals, never even cursed, I don't think. Wears sweaters up to here, never holes in her pants. Very cute little girl. Boys treated her like she had the plague. So she comes to my office, Gomez, boys don't like me. I said, that's a good thing. Right? That's a good thing. You need to concentrate on school. But all her friends were getting asked on dates. All her friends were getting chatted with. Boys knew her reputation. They knew how they had no chance of adventure and fun with her because they knew what her morals were. She desperately wanted boys' attention. So in comes a high school kid from another school who doesn't know her reputation. He tells her how beautiful she is, that he wants to date her, that he wants to, marry her someday, all this other stuff. So she's loving the attentions the first boy has ever talked to her. Well, as this boy asked her for pictures, she's like, no way, I don't do that. So then the boy starts withdrawing. She's so desperate to keep his attention that against all her beliefs and all her knowledge, she sends pictures to him anyways. Okay? That's not a bad kid. I promise it's not a bad kid. It's just she gets wrapped up in the time and the ages, and parents weren't quite on top of it how they should be, which they are now, but this is happening over and over and over again, right? It's not bad kids that are doing this. We got straight 4.0 students, office aides are sending naked pictures out. So then boys, parents, I don't have to worry about my boy. Nobody's going to prey on him, right? It's all guys preying on girls. Okay, so last year, 2 6th graders get a random chat organizer, which is Omegle or Meet Me. They get hooked up. They put their 11. I like soccer, and it sets them up with somebody. They start talking to 16, 17-year-old hottie girl. Hey, how you doing? Right? 16, 17-year-old hottie girl, after they've known each other a long time, maybe a half hour or so. She says, you're not like everybody else. I'm very lucky to have found you online. I'm very lucky that I met you. You're special. You're unique. I really like you. She says, if I send you a topless picture, will you send me one back? So here's this 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy who's getting a topless picture from a girl who he's been talking to. His brain is instantly mush. Okay? Does he send a topless picture back? Absolutely. Once the person on the other end of the line gets that one, well, what if I send you a full nude picture? Will you send one back? Yeah, after I call my friends to tell them I'm getting married and come over here right away. Absolutely, he's going to send one back. So in both cases, I had 2 6th grade parents who contacted me, Officer Gomez. We just got our son's phone. There's some girl propositioning him, getting naked pictures because the boys had both sent naked pictures. Once I did my investigation, it turned out to be like a 25-year-old guy in Ohio and a 37-year-old guy in Kentucky. All right? What the child molesters who are after boy porn have figured out is that if they try to contact boys as boys, they're not going to get pictures. But if they get this series of girls, they can get those free all day long online. 18-year-old girls who have clothed, non-clothed, in sexual acts, who look like they're 16, right? 15, 16. And they send them to these boys. These boys are going to send them original child pornography back, which then they use to trade. And that happens over and over and over again. And, let's be real about it. 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old boys, you get a topless picture of a girl, your brain is gone. So parents, you have to watch that. You have to explain it to them. Predators are going after families. Last summer, a girl posted a picture of a palm tree on Instagram. So one of her 600 followers, hey, what's with the picture of the palm tree? Oh, I'm going to Hawaii. Me and my family, we're going for 2 weeks. Her GPS was turned on so everybody could see right where she was taking pictures at. They knew when she was going. They knew when she was going to come back. They knew her whole family. They knew her address. So when she got back, her house was ransacked, right? Everything valuable was gone. They had 2 weeks to do it. If the neighbor came over, they could, hey, you know what? Bob and Joe, they're in Hawaii. They asked me to come by and check out some stuff. Here's their phone number, right? Because with open Facebook accounts, open Instagrams, they have all that information. They can make a good argument that they're supposed to be there. They're also targeting grandmas, okay? You get somebody's open Facebook account, you know they have an elderly grandma. You get a young girl, hey, you're Susie. Call this lady and tell her you're your granddaughter and that you're in trouble in Mexico. Grandma, it's Susie. Oh, hi. Hey, we're in Mexico and my parents got mugged and we're in the jail and we need $2,500 to get out. Here's the number that you wired to from Western Union. Incidentally, once you wire money, it's gone. There's no way for us to track it, get it back, anything. So make sure if you wire money, you know where it's going to. But these older people don't know this. And predators come up with new ways to prey on them all the time. Don't let it be your kid that opens up all your information and their information. Why middle school kids? They're perfect because they're not smart enough yet. They don't understand that there's really bad people. There's really bad people. Okay, I had a guy last year who would meet girls online. He was a 22-year-old guy. Would meet them online, talk up to them, say nice things. Hey, come over to my house. We're having a pizza party. My parents are going to be here. When the girls would get over to his house, hey, they just stepped out to get the pizza. What kind of soda do you want? I'll text them. They would sit down to watch the movie, and within about 5 minutes, he would violently grab them by the back of their hair and force kiss them. So here's a 22-year-old, and here's a 14 or 15-year-old in a house alone with the guy they just met, and he has now violently grabbed them by their head and force kissed them. He did this at his house. He did this at the mall over and over and over again. It took a long time for anybody to report it because the girls are very embarrassed that they put themselves in that situation. They're very afraid of him because he said he had a drug dealer buddy that would kill their parents if they ever went to the police. Okay, this guy was very effective because he practiced over and over and over again, but boys aren't even ready for that, right? And it's happening right here in Meridian. Sexting. All right, so sexting, we count sexting basically sending naked pictures back and forth. Even though it is, you can chat with people about sex back and forth. Again, 50 naked pictures that I've gotten, it's well over that. That just sounds like a good number. The girl who's under 18, who takes a picture, a selfie in the mirror, right? That's what they call them, is selfies. They take that picture and they send it out to their boyfriend. That's a felony crime, dissemination of child pornography, for which she gets charged. Okay? The boy who receives that picture and keeps it and doesn't immediately delete it and let a parent know, possession of child pornography, felony crime. The boy who gets the picture from his buddy and sends it on, felony dissemination of child pornography. Okay, in each of those cases, I take all the phones, they never get them back. Why do they never get them back? At the police department, I have a machine that can go back a year or two and get all the pictures that have been deleted and erased from the phone, right? They're never really deleted and erased. I guess if you put it in the blender, it can be, but usually not. So if I can do it, the bad guys can do it. So are we ever going to give a phone back that's had child porn on it? It's to protect the kids. Plus, it's also a good deterrent for them not to send those pictures out. Right? And it always happens. I trusted him. I sent him my picture. And now I hear from a different kid at a different school that they got my picture. Right? That's where suicidal thoughts start happening, because now 4 different schools have this poor girl's picture. Horrible. How do I find these pictures? When I give this class, I tell them about, people are going to trade those pictures. They're going to blackmail you. Your best friend right now is me, because I'm going to go try and get all those pictures back at any cost. And I may get them back, I may not. If it hits the internet, it's basically like trying to unscramble an egg to get the pictures back. But other than that, I will go scare some kids, at least scare them into deleting them if I can't get their phones. Again, felony crime, super important. Cyberbullying, we're going to talk about in a couple more slides. Suicide attention seekers. You're having a bad day. Parents told you couldn't wear a short skirt to school. Whatever happened, boyfriend broke up with you for the 3rd time. You need some pick-me-ups. So what the kids are doing, and this is boys and girls, they take the little pencil sharpeners, little plastic pencil sharpeners, they put them on the ground, they step on it and break it. They get the little razor blade out of there, and they start cutting themselves. And they put it on Instagram for everybody to see. What is everybody on Instagram? Oh, you're the most beautiful person ever. Don't hurt yourself. I love you. Nobody's as awesome as you. Call me, text me, friend me. All these things. What does everybody else see? Hey, if I need a pick-me-up, I can break an eraser. I can break a pencil sharpener, get the razor blade out, cut myself, and I'm going to get an instant pick-me-up. The problem with that is you can only do that so many times before somebody calls your bluff. Dude, we seen that last time. Right? So then you have to up the ante. So then you get the picture of the pills with the cutting, or you get the picture of the pills with the alcohol bottle, and it just starts getting crazy, and other kids are learning this, right? So it propagates. How do I find somebody that's been cutting? If it's 105 degrees outside and they're wearing a hoodie, it's time for a sleeve check. All right, I always check kids' sleeves just for fun. If they have writing on their hand, hey, high five. As soon as they high five, I grab their hand, roll their sleeve down. Hey, let's go to the nurse. Right? And a lot of times, once you catch one, oh, well, Bobby's doing it. Well, Susie's doing it. I'm probably on number 40 in a year and a half of cutters. Are they all trying to commit suicide? No, most of them are trying for the attention, but sooner or later, they have to up the ante, right? And if they start at 6th grade, guess what? By the time they get 8th, 9th grade, they've upped the ante quite a bit, and we start having bigger problems. Distorted reality. Okay, online things are distorted. And one case in point, Facebook, I get a girl who comes in, Officer Gomez, my boyfriend cheated on me, and I don't think I can make it through the rest of the day. No one's going to cheat on the girls here at my school. Where is he? I'll call him in here right now. Well, he lives in Texas. Well, when's the last time you saw him? Well, I've never seen him. What? Well, we got Facebook married like 2 weeks ago. What? Yeah, and he cheated on me because he talked to another girl. My friend sent me a screenshot. Get out of my office. Right? It's a distorted reality. And if you don't think it's a distorted reality, go on to the Idaho Statesman. Look at any kind of major story and look underneath at the comments at what happens. If there's more than 10 comments, people get crazy. They start talking about going to each other's houses and killing people and dragging them through. They just get crazy. No normal adult would talk like that in real life to each other face to face. But however, I'm telling you, Idaho Statesman, every single day, almost every article, if it goes on more than 10 comments, there's some crazy people talking on there. So imagine what happens to these middle school kids who are still feeling everything out. And they're extra sensitive. They don't know when to walk away. This becomes their world, right? It becomes their world. Theft of devices, huge problem. At middle school, they're supposed to bring their phones into school, put them in their lockers, and get them out at the end of the day. Does that happen? Are they texting during class? Absolutely. Teachers used to take phones from kids when they saw them texting in class. However, that becomes such a huge problem that they are very not willing to do that. Because what happens is a teacher takes a phone, gives it to the principal, here comes the parent. I want this teacher charged with theft because they stole my kid's phone. That's our property and they took it. And it happens. It happens all the time. Am I going to file a charge? No. And the parent's going to hear from me, but the teachers have to battle. And then in high school, when the teacher would take a phone, well, yeah, you can have my phone, but I'm going to take the battery and the SIM card before you take it. So now it becomes a 10-minute ordeal just to try and get the phone from this kid. It's just not worth it. So the kids are texting during class. I get parents that call, hey, Officer Gomez, can you talk to the math teacher? I know you're pretty well liked at the school. They're assigning too much math problems. My kid cannot get them done. I was like, do you have Verizon account, Sprint account, T-Mobile? What do you have? Oh, we got Verizon. Okay, log on to Verizon. Go into their phone, do data plan, texting detail. How many messages were sent in the last 30 days? Well, that can't be right. It says 15,000 right here. Okay? Yeah, their priorities are mixed up. I would say the average kid in middle school and in high school who has a full texting plan is sending between 7,000 to 15,000 text messages a month. Do they have extra time to do homework? Absolutely. In middle school, my record right now is 26,000 text messages in 1 month from one student. Do I expect that to be beat? Absolutely. But that means they are texting always, right? And you don't have to sign up for a special program. You can all look how many text messages they're sending. And it usually tells you what number they're texting to and from, just so you know. Texting and driving. If you send 14,000 text messages in a month, when you start driving, you're still going to send those text messages. No matter how dangerous I tell you it is, you're still going to send those text messages. I've been an officer about 5 years. I've been to about 5 or 6 DUI crashes. People were drunk. In each of those crashes, there was steering input. That means that even though they were drunk, they could see what was coming up. They were hitting the brakes, they were swerving. I've been to about 30 or 40 texting driving crashes. No steering input. It looks like the driver just fell asleep, which they might as well have fallen asleep because they're text, and dead. Text, 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 big car pileup, head-on collision. Right? You can go to any high school in Meridian and Boise, sit on the corner, kids would come in, you'll see a huge percentage of them texting. Heck, they're texting from the back seat to the front seat. All right? The stigma for drinking and driving is much worse than texting and driving. And I asked the kids, hey, if your older sister came to pick you up at the middle school and they were slosh drunk, would you get in the car with them? If they're texting and driving, would you go, oh yeah, they're a real good texter and driver, so I'm okay there. How about your parents? Right? So parents, if you're texting and driving, guess what you're teaching your kids? And I tell the kids, you can tell your parent, I said, it's dangerous. They want to come have a talk with me. I got pepper spray. Tell them to come say hi. YouTube junkie is not that big a problem around here, but it is a problem. You get some kid that wants to have 500,000 hits on YouTube, so they do a backflip off a building. Okay, well, that only got me 500. So now they light themselves on fire and do a backflip. And pretty soon they're blindfolding themselves, backflipping into a moving truck. Pretty soon we're going to call that guy Lefty or Gimpy or Cyclops or Bird or who knows what, because they've got permanent debilitation because they're trying to get YouTube stuff. And the next week, it's gone, right? They've been outdone by somebody else. That last one on there, it's your resume, one of the most important ones, right? And this affects a lot of adults, right? Police officers lose their job because of what they put on Facebook. Senators, congressmen, all kinds of people lose their job. Teachers lose their jobs because of what they put on Facebook. So kids, when they start going up into jobs, that's the first thing they're going to check is their social media. So I'm going to delete all that social media before I go get a job. You think somebody might have screenshotted it? People take screenshots all the time, and if you're ever competing with anybody who has a screenshot of you, they just send that to your future boss, and you're done, right? You are done. So super important. All right, so if we go by the two rules that touch policy, right, anybody on your social media you should have touched, and the 200 friend policy, they don't need to have any of this information, right? Address, phone number, school, all of that should not be on their social media. So parents, this is your job. If they have any of that, take it off. Take it off. I see middle school kids, hey, I'm going to the mall. HMU if you want to go. Hey, HMU has hit me up. So now a predator knows that they're going to the mall, knows what they look like, knows who they're going to be with, knows how long they're going to be there without adult supervision, and can go hang out with them. Right? And some predators won't come up to them. They'll just creep on them at the mall. Some will creep across the street. We get calls from parents, there's a strange car across the street. Yeah, I'll bet there is. Check out your daughter's Facebook. Check out your daughter's Instagram. Right? This stuff does not need to be on the internet. It's hugely dangerous, and there's no need for it. Right? There's just no need for it. Let's not make it easy for predators. Parents, big offenders as well. I can't tell you how many times I've seen some of my middle school kids, just got back from Hawaii, parents have, oh, look, here's me and my daughter in her new bikini. We bought her to go to Hawaii, and the daughter's 11. Okay, on a completely open Facebook account. Not good. Hey, look, this is my son going to prom, and there's their address in the background with the car license plate, everything. All these things can be used to find people. All right, at our department, we have $100,000 programs that the detectives use to find phone numbers, find addresses, find where people are at. I can find that information in half the time for free on Facebook. I can find where they work. I can find what car they drive. I can find where they're going tomorrow night. I can find what music they like. I can find where they went to a party. I can find where they went shopping. All these things are open. But most adults have their Facebook open, and they give up their kids. You can have your kid as secure as you want. If you don't have your stuff locked down, guess what? People will use you to get to your kid. You can have your kid as locked down as you want. If his best friend Johnny doesn't have his locked down, guess what? They'll go through Johnny to get to your kid. Right? It's almost the same thing as with prescription drugs. You can have all your stuff locked up as much as you want. If grandma ain't got hers locked up, you're not doing much good. Lock down your Facebook, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Bullying. I'm going to read you this, just in case you can't read it. Rip to that girl you called a slut in class today. She's a virgin. The pregnant girl walking down the street. She got raped. The boy you called lame, he has to work every night to support his family. That girl you pushed down the other day, she's already being abused at home. That girl you called fat, she's starving herself. The old man you made fun of because he has ugly scars, he fought for our country. The boy you made fun of for crying, his mother is dying. Last year at Meridian Middle School, 15-year-old girl, had a tragic event in her life. Was out of school for 2 weeks, come back to school. Right when they started the anonymous Facebook pages that were kind of a craze for about a month last year. Some boy said something ugly and personal about her. She cried all day. Her friends got her through that day. She made it home. The next day she comes to school and somebody else saying this horrible comment about her. That night, mom gets home, finds her on the kitchen floor unconscious. She'd taken a bunch of sleeping pills in an effort to end her life. So when she's in the hospital, we found the boys who put those anonymous comments, because you're not anonymous online, right? If I want to find you bad enough, I'm going to find you. We talked to the boys and the families. Hey, did you mean to try and kill this girl? Absolutely not, right? They were horrified. The families were horrified. That's not what was their intent. They thought they were being funny, as most people are when they start bullying people. They think they're being funny. They had no idea somebody might try and kill themselves, but yet we lose kids every year to people suicide. And I tell the kids in the middle school, you don't know what everybody's going through. I promise you, there's your classmate sitting next to you that goes home and gets sexually abused every night. I promise you, you have a person in your class who goes home and gets physically abused every night. I promise you, there's a kid in your school who goes home and they have to hide their siblings in the closet and put headphones on them because their parents are fighting drunk. I promise there's kids in your school who have friends and family who are going through cancer and they might not live next week. Do you know who they are? You don't. So why would you ever say anything negative about anybody? You don't know who those people are, right? You just don't know. So make sure it's positive. I call up lots of parents and tell them their kids are being bullies online. Hey, your kid is saying some really mean things. All right, and then the parents will usually say something. The normal is, well, they're being bullied as well. So people are saying bad things about them. I told them it's okay to say things back bad. No. Wrong answer. I think one of the best answers I got last year when I called, I said, hey, look, your daughter got involved in this back and forth thing. She said some very mean things. The mean things were said back. I just want to make you aware. See, Officer Gomez, I can promise you that my daughter is not going to have a cell phone or an iPad for the rest of the year. We will have a discussion about how you will never say anything negative about somebody online in a public place ever again. Right? That's the right answer. Right? Yay, Mom. And it doesn't have to be that extreme. Anywhere even close to that, target that answer, I'm good with. Right? Just something to that nature we need to get to there. Okay, so standard victim response, and I see this all the time. When you have 3,000 Facebook friends, you are going to get bullied. That comes with that amount of friends. And I have exact moms at this school. Officer Gomez, my daughter's getting bullied. The school says, okay, who's bullying? So they take care of whoever one person said something bad. Well, guess what? All their friends are going to say something bad about the girl the next day because she's got 3,000 friends, so she has all the girls' friends as well. So the next day, mom goes, well, she's still getting bullied. What are you guys doing about it? Well, about day number 3 or 4, the school's like, hey, unplug the computer. Easy solution. You want me to punish my daughter for something somebody else is doing? Here we go again, right? We're protecting, we're not punishing. So then they come to the police. I'm going to tell her the same thing. Get rid of some Facebook friends. With 3,000, I can't be her personal bodyguard online every day. Get her offline. At least get her down to 200 friends. Well, why won't you do it? I just did something about it. I told you to delete some friends. Okay? They're not happy with that answer. They want it to be somebody else's fault and want somebody else to take care of it. So then they put their daughter in counseling because the daughter is going to commit suicide or something. Counselor says, hey, sticks and stones will break your bones and words will never hurt you. That only works for a little bit. So then they change schools. Well, this school just doesn't do things about bullying. This other school does, so I'm going to take her to that school. All her friends are still online. They follow her to the new school. So that doesn't work at all. So within a couple of weeks, oh, well, it must be Idaho schools don't care about my kid. So they take them out of school and they take them to homeschooling, which I call Twitter High and Facebook University, because when kids go home under that circumstance, they have 8 hours of nothing but time to cause havoc on the internet. All right? The kids that actually commit suicide because of Facebook bullying, they go through each of these steps, but they miss that last step, the most important one. Get your kid off the internet. Some kids are not mature enough for it. Heck, some adults are not mature enough for it. Right? And in summertime, I get several adults. They'll come in couples sometimes. Oh, yeah, we have this person that we know. They made a fake Facebook account, and they're talking a lot of trash about us. We want you to make them stop, or we want you to fix the problem. It's like, look, I have a super easy solution to this problem. Take this finger right here, power down your computer. You are not mature enough to use it. Right? Come back when you are. It's just like that. Okay, back in the day, and I'm a grandpa now, so I can talk about back in the day. You had to bully in person. There was no internet. You had to get bullied in person. And it happened. They'd take your lunch money. They'd say you couldn't play with whatever reason, you would get bullied in person. You'd go home, tell mom or dad. They would enroll you in karate class. You become a black belt, punch a guy in the nose, whatever, no more bullying. Or if they couldn't afford those classes, they take you in the garage, give you boxing lessons, you punch a guy in the nose, and no more bullying. It helps out everybody. Online, you can't really punch the guy in the nose, nor do I say that's a good idea. So what do you do? Well, if you're going to give a kid a device that they can get online with, and there's going to be all kinds of people with negative comments, this index finger better become a black belt at blocking and deleting, right? Black belt, block and delete. How do you like me now? That's how it has to be. And if you have 200 friends, it's super easy. Somebody says something you don't like, or they say, hey, you know what, I would burn that dress because it looks like monkey vomit green. Hey, I don't like you, I'm deleting you. It's easy. With 3,000 friends, not so easy. All the applications have ways already built in for you to block and delete people that are bothering you. Do it, it's easy, right? I bet 95 to 98% of the bullying complaints I get can be solved in your own home, right? But most parents these days want it to be somebody else's problem. They don't block and delete the stuff themselves. Again, some children will never be mature enough to use the internet. Never, never, never. Facebook, okay? The Facebook page on the left, that's what 95% of Facebook pages look like to the public, okay? Name, photos, likes, bars, music, friends, kids, everything is on there. That's why I can find people on half the time as anybody else, because their Facebook pages are open. They give everything up. Adults and kids. On the right, that's my personal Facebook page. I got a name and a face. And if you have a kid in middle school, high school, they shouldn't even have the face. Make it be an avatar. Right? Make it be a My Little Pony or a big toe or something. There's not a picture. Right? They can let their friends know what their Facebook page is. There's no reason to have a picture, because even just having that picture, somebody can screen that picture, put it on Facebook. Hey, rate me. R-A-T-E, rate me. Right? And even though you didn't put on, everybody's going to come on. Oh, well, that looks like a donkey face. Oh, you got horse teeth. Oh, you got dog ears. Right? And that's how it starts. And it gets blown all out of proportion very quickly. All right? The right, that's the right way. The left, it's the wrong way. Let's go to the next slide. How can you tell? Most people go onto Facebook and secure it by changing their settings in like 4 or 5 places, 8 places maybe. Not good enough. It takes about 30 clicks to secure your Facebook. Best way, you type into Google, how do I secure my Facebook? And it goes through a lot of steps on how to do it. But you basically have to go to your About page, and every little thing you have to put friends. Don't put friends of friends, just put friends. Okay? School, friends. Work, friends. Phone number, friends. Family, friends. It takes about 30 clicks to make it look so where you only have your name and your picture. Down at the bottom, you can check this on your own by viewing your own profiles, what the public would see. And it's privacy settings, timeline tagging, review what others can see, and pick view as public. See what the public can see. See what the public can see on your kid's account, right? Instagram. Instagram, you take a picture, you post it, people like it, they don't like it, but then they can hashtag it, right? So a third party can hashtag your picture. So now let's say a 12-year-old girl takes a picture in her sports bra and Spankies, which they think is just fine. It's not, but they think it's just fine. They put a picture up, okay, here's me in my sports bra and my Spanks. The next person who gets it puts the hashtag 13-year-old hottie, Boise hottie, right? Teen cleavage. They start tagging it with all kinds of craziness. So now anybody that searches those is going to pick up that picture, right? It goes worldwide just like that. And every new person that gets it can screenshot it, or they can hashtag it with something new. It gets crazy. Instagram, by default, has the GPS turned on. If this was a live map, I could zoom in to within 6 feet of where the pictures were taken. Within 6 feet. That's where you got the guy parked across the street with his binoculars looking at your kids in their bedroom because they can see where they're taking pictures. Okay, by default, it's turned on. When the bad guys use tricks, I learned the tricks too. This summer, somebody was having a marijuana grow in their bedroom. They were posting pictures of their marijuana plants, which they were naming, and they had their Instagram GPS turned on. So we could see where their marijuana plants were, we could see where they were selling marijuana, and we could see where they were smoking. So we got a couple search warrants, went and took the marijuana plants, took everything. Took them to jail. Right? And it happens all the time. The criminals, sometimes they haven't had the internet safety class, so they're just as bad. Snapchat. Horrible, horrible, horrible program for any kid. All right, and I get parents that come up and, oh my gosh, I'm so good. My kid and I are Snapchatting. Look how cute this is. It's dangerous. Snapchat, you take a picture, You spin the dial and you say between 4 and 10 seconds. It goes to the person that you intend to get the message. They get a little beep on their phone, says you have a message from such and such. When you put your finger on that message, it shows you the picture so long as you have your finger on there. And it counts down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and when it hits 0, it disappears forever. So what you do is you get groups of boys at one house, groups of girls at the other. Hey, Snapchat us. Then pretty soon the boys will say, hey, you can send me a booby picture because it's going to disappear forever and there's no way I can save it. Because if you screenshot it, it actually sends the person back a message that says they screenshotted it. Oh, you dirty dogs. So what the boys quickly learned is that this is my phone with a Snapchat picture. Here's my secondary phone that I'm taking pictures and video with. The girls had no idea they were saving the pictures. All right? Even easier than that, both Android and iOS, which is Apple, both have programs that you can download that save every single Snapchat image. So then at the end of the conversation, hey, which Snapchat images do you want saved to your phone and which ones do you want to just delete? I'll bet that 80% of the nude photographs I'm getting at middle school level right now and high school level are done with Snapchat. The way you can tell a Snapchat picture, I should have one up here, but it's got a band across the middle with text usually. And it's easy, it's a Snapchat picture. You can ask kids, what's a Snapchat picture look like? They will train you. They train me, they will train you. You just got to ask. But no kid should have Snapchat. There's no good reason for it. Parents can't see what their kids are up to. It's just a horrible thing. Don't have it. Next one. Ask FM is basically bullyme.com. All right, you want to get bullied, you start an Ask FM account. Basically, you set up a profile, and then you tell people to ask you any question they want, and you will answer it truthfully. All right, and then you put the address on all your Facebook, your Instagram, so that all your friends know where to go, and they can ask you whatever question they want anonymously. So every girl that I've talked to that has an Ask FM account gets asked these 5 questions, right? Why are you such a whatever? It usually starts with a big B. Why don't you go kill yourself? Why are you so ugly? Do you send nudes and are you a virgin? Those get asked to everybody. Why would you let your 11-year-old have this program? The girl who killed herself in Florida, who climbed up the cement tower and jumped off to her death. Word was that Ask FM, question number 2, why don't you go kill yourself? That's the exact thing that caused her to go kill herself. Do I believe that? No, there's going to be some other stuff there, I promise. But that's the way the story came out. You know, when I'm talking to kids and they're talking about this, I tell them, look, teenagers specifically have a superpower to ignore people. And if you don't believe they have that superpower, just ask their parents and their teachers. They can ignore people like none other. Why can't they ignore somebody on a random computer 10 miles away from their house? Right? I'll get parents, Officer Gomez, somebody just asked my daughter to kill herself online. Okay, well, ask her not to. Why won't you do anything? I just did something. I told you to ask her not to. Unplug them, right? Why won't you do anything? No reason for kids to have Ask FM. None at all. And the logo looks just like that one up on top. Okay, so after one of these classes, a girl comes up, Officer Gomez, about a week ago, I sent a picture to a boy in Nampa. I really feel bad. I want it back. I'm afraid for everything. So I go to Nampa and I talk to the kid, get him to admit it. Have him show me on his phone. Where are these pictures? Because I'm taking your phone anyway, so you might as well show me where they are. He pulls up this tic-tac-toe program, and it was this exact program. You can play tic-tac-toe all day long against somebody. It keeps score. It looks legitimate, and it keeps score. If you put the X's and O's in the right sequence, it brought up a secret gallery and a secret menu. Okay, so once he brought up the secret menu, he had 18 different middle school girls naked on his phone. 18. So he was a trader. He starts trading them back and forth. So those poor girls, their picture's gone who knows where, right? That picture's going to be around when they're grandmas and their kids are grandmas. The one on the right, that one's done on an iPhone. So on an iPhone, the secret program was you go to the dialer like you're going to dial a phone number. You dial a 5-digit number, which you selected. You hit send just like you're going to make a phone call, and up pops the secret menu. All right? Craziness. These programs were designed initially for cheating husbands and wives, right? They were to hide pictures, to hide phone books, to hide chats. Kids quickly took them for their own for naked pictures. There's thousands of these programs that they can download for free. Some of them are, you shake, rattle, and slide the phone. Some of them you say something to the phone. Some of them you give it the eye and the wink, and it does it. whatever it be, it's going to be hard for a parent to find. And we'll kind of talk about how you can detect those a little bit later. Next one. Protect yourself. If you have a kid, and adults, I get adults, hey, Officer Gomez, my ex-husband keeps on calling me at 2 in the morning. Hey, block him. Turn off your phone. What? You want me to punish myself because of something somebody else is doing? Here we go again. Do you lock your doors? Protect yourself. Apple and Android make it super easy for you to block people. Just add them as a contact and reject them. Depending on which Android device you have and which software, it's a little different, but almost all of them have a way to do it. And it's almost this easy on all of them. Super easy. Block them yourself first. Teach your kids to block them. Teach your kids to protect themselves. I tell parents all the time, middle school is a perfect learning opportunity for your kid. Somebody saying something negative, bad, let's take this as a learning opportunity. Don't make them a victim. Let's empower them to take care of themselves and show them that this is how this family runs, this is how this school runs, this is how this city runs. Okay, if you're going to give your kid a cell phone, put the $5 feature on it. Okay, almost all the cell phone carriers have it. It changes in price $1 or $2, and some of the features change a little bit. But for the most part, this is about what happens. You pay for $5. This message was actually from one of my kids in the middle school. They tried to send a text message at 10:55 p.m. All right, when they hit send, it comes up with a little message. Your phone has been restricted by the account owner. You cannot send messages until the time of day restriction ends. So basically, parents, once they got the $5 plan, they set the restriction from 9 p.m. till 7 a.m. Right? So then when they send it, just automatically, it takes all the fight out of it, right? You can't send messages. The only person you can text and or call is parents. Same thing with school hours, right? Is there any reason why your kid needs to be texting all their friends during school hours? You set the restriction during school. They can call parents in emergency. They can always call 911 in emergency. But let's set some restrictions. Makes it super easy. $5, cheap. You can see what kind of phone numbers they're calling and receiving. You can actually see that without the $5 plan, but it just gives you a little more details with the $5 plan. You can see what applications are being downloaded. This is where you catch the secret applications. Okay, so if you see something that, hey, they're using Kik for 20 hours a day, but yet I check their phone and there's no Kik. Hey, where is this at? Right? I see they took, 2,100 pictures. I only see 3 pictures on this phone. Where's the rest of the pictures? Time to start asking some questions. Right? So that's what's nice about the $5 program. You can also locate your child with GPS. You can turn on their GPS. You can turn off their GPS, so you can find where they're at. A little trick that I learned from some high school kids, hey, I'm going to Johnny's house for the night. I'll be there. You can reach me all night long. I have my GPS on. If you need to get there, we're there. So then what they do is they all go to Johnny's house. They all throw their phones in the mailbox. And now they go to Bobby's house and have an underage juvenile drinking party. And the parents can check the phones at any time. They're at Johnny's house all night long, but they're actually in the mailbox. And then if you text or call, oh, well, yeah, the music was loud, so I didn't get it. Right? They get tricks, but that's, I'm on your team. That's what we're doing. You receive the log files with usage information. That's where you get, hey, they sent 26,000 text messages. So when they tell you they can't get their homework done, you can say baloney. Most carriers are off of this. In fact, I think all the carriers I've talked to, unless you have, I don't know what kind of carrier might not have it, but I'm sure there's something. Let's go to the next slide. Computer security. Basically, all the things that happen to cell phones happen to computers. With a couple new things, there's all kinds of free programs you can download. I don't have kids, so I don't recommend one or the other. Just something. Keystroke logging is one of the most important features you can get with the child stuff. Keystroke logging logs all of one half of the conversation the kid puts on a keyboard. So everything they type in goes to a log file and it gets sent to you. That way you can see everything that's happened. You only get half the conversation, but it's the good half. It's your kid, right? They've found kids that have disappeared like that because they can see what they were typing, who they were typing to, and they can go, retrieve them. One thing about computers, Miss Teen USA, some of you might have saw the story. She received an email from somebody, an anonymous person, said, hey, I have naked photos of you. I'm going to give them to the tabloids unless you send me a 15-second video or whatever he asked for. She goes, no, you don't have naked pictures of me because I've never sent a naked picture. And she was pretty confident. Well, she says that. Pretty soon she gets an email from the guy again with her naked picture. And she says, oh, my goodness, I've never sent a naked. I don't know how this guy got this. She contacts the police, who find out her computer was hacked. And when they hacked it, they basically took over her web camera. So her laptop in her room, basically a stranger had control over when the camera came on. Super easy hack. And for kids, basically you send them an email that says, hey, see what your friends are saying about you on Instagram. See what Susie said about you on Facebook. Oh, well, I'm clicking on that. Well, now they own your web camera. Okay, so there's an easy fix to this. Take a little piece of electrical tape and put it over your webcam. Right? Super easy. That way you don't have to worry about it. People say, well, what about cell phones? Can they do that with cell phones? Yes, they can do it with cell phones. However, I always put my cell phone like this. The camera's facing down. They're not going to see nothing. And even if I put it like this, it's going to see up. Not that I'm too worried about it. Somebody gets a picture of me, they're going to get charged with disturbing the peace, I'm pretty sure. All right? Do random computer checks. Do random phone checks. That's a hard thing to do if your kid lives by their computer or their cell phone, right? You're going to do this, and it's becoming a battle. Hey, I need to check your phone. Well, let me send a text to Susie, or I got to finish this homework, or I got to finish this download before I give it. And it becomes a battle. It's a pain in the neck. So what I suggest, and what's worked really well with other parents, have a central charging location in your house that's not their bedrooms. So all Wi-Fi devices, all phones have to be charged at the same place, same time every night. That way when you want to check, you go check. They have no idea how often you're checking. Right? You could check every night. You don't have to check ever. But as long as they don't know it, it's not a battle. Right? Because I get lots of parents. This is kind of my pet peeve. I get a parent that calls, hey, I want to check my kid's phone, but they won't give me their password. What? With the real parent, please stand up. That's a huge problem. If you're giving your kid a cell phone, an iPad, tell them it's your iPad they're letting them borrow. This comes with a bedroom as well that I'm letting you borrow. All right? I am letting you borrow this. I can take this back at any time. That way they understand. Because I get parents to do that. I don't have my kid's password. How do I go about getting it? Here, just take the phone and break it on the ground and start over. Solutions: get extra educated on social media, which you're doing, but you have to refresh this all the time, right? You have to refresh. Ask your kids to teach you. Go through their phone, tell them to teach you the applications. They teach me. I go before school. Hey, what are you using? What are we playing? What's popular? Phone and computer checks we just talked about. The 200 social media friends is hugely important. And that, I'll tell them Facebook, and they'll get their kids will get down to Facebook, but then they have 1,700 Instagram friends or Vine friends or whatever. Make sure it's 200 on everything. There's no need for them to have more than 200 people. In fact, there's no need for them to have it all, but I know that's the world that we live in, but let's keep them safe. Don't give, on iOS, which is Apple devices, you don't have to give the kid the password to the download. Right? So in order to download any kind of application on iPhone, you have to have a password. So make them come to you, hey, what do you want to download? What application do you want to download? Tell me what it does, and then I'll put in the password. Right? That's a super good way to go. On Android devices, it doesn't work quite that well, but they're talking about going to that kind of system as well to make things safer and help you out. Next one. All right. Hey, I'm at Lewis and Clark Middle School. You can always contact me there. You can always contact me at the Meridian Police Department. You can friend my Facebook page. Hopefully we can put some links up to the Facebook page and the presentation. We have that technology available. Now you can find me all kinds of ways. I'm easy to talk to. You can bring your kids by the school. If you have a phone question, if you have something cool and new that I haven't seen, I always like to see cool and new stuff. I'm sure you're going to think it's bad, but I like to see it so that I can train everybody. I can put it in my next slide presentation. This is really happening here, and it's really a huge issue. And parents are the ones who have to get on top of this. If you give your kid that phone, make sure you're on top of it. It's too dangerous not to. There are professional predators that don't have jobs that hunt your kids. One of the guys we arrested at the park who came to meet us was homeless. He was couch surfing. He was borrowing phones, borrowing computers, and good enough to make it look like he really had everything going. There are professional predators hunting your kids every single day, right? And they might be able to hold off against one or two, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, what if it takes 100 before it gets to your kid? It's worth it just to watch them every step of the way. All right? Again, you can always contact me. I think we have just a few minutes if we have a couple of questions.